In today's video, I'm going to be ranking the best units in Anime Last Stand as of the new Slime event. Keep in mind this list is entirely my opinion, feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but please watch the entire video before you leave a hate comment. On the other hand, if you enjoy the video, maybe leave a like or subscribe. Not trying to be that guy, but less than 10% of you watching are actually subbed, so any support means a lot. Anyways, let's get into it. Alright, these are all of the tiers I'll be using for this list. We do have Meta Hybrid, Meta Ground, Meta Support, Amazing, and Decent. So keep in mind, these are a little bit different than normal, and that all the rankings are going to be changing throughout the video, and they're not going to be complete until the very end. I'll have a timestamp in the pinned comment. Anyways, let's get into the new Slime Update units. So, starting with Oni General, I do have a showcase on this guy. I'd say he's very good. He is crazy for the Black Flame damage. All of these units from the Slime update actually did deliver on some of the highest damage in the game if you check the DPS chart. It's just that some of them are a little bit expensive or don't have like a passive or anything. Oni General does have a passive. Black Flame's very crazy. He's also on the cheaper side, not cheap enough to be placed in the first wave, but he does some crazy damage for pretty cheap. I'd say he's Meta Hybrid right now. We also have Voldera. I'd say he's also going in either Meta Hybrid or Meta Support. He does some really crazy damage, and full AoE Hybrid, he's just a little bit expensive. And he does have the Electrify passive, so he is mostly support-oriented. I believe he's hybrid on placement though, so if you can save up to 10k to place him, he is also pretty good in progressives if you can save it up. Dragon Princess is going to be mostly a support. Now her damage is really good. As I said, all the units in the Slime update are somewhere in like the top 10, 15 DPS units right now. But the Dragon Princess is mostly a support because of her stun passive. She's really cheap as well. Very good. Lord Noir, I don't know if he's like meta hybrid. He is, again, going to be really high in the DPS chart, but there's nothing too special about him. There are better options for dark damage. He can be really good for just pure damage, especially in the new portals and content and stuff. When you have his skin, he gets even more bonus damage. So I'd say if you're farming the portals, he's definitely meta hybrid. Otherwise, I'd say he's top of amazing at best. Hashirama, I'd say he's pretty good. He does have cripple, he does have poison, he's hybrid on placement, very cheap. You can place him first wave, or not first wave, but second. This guy is pretty good for the new portals, specifically because he is nature. If you are not doing the new portals though, or just not doing any water-based content, he's only really decent. I don't know, he's not too great, maybe bottom of amazing, but yeah, he's kind of underwhelming, as all limited units are. Rimuru is crazy, definitely a meta hybrid unit, crazy damage, I think the 5th highest in the game with glitched, and then also has a nuke ability, which is insane for leaderboards with only a 700 second cooldown, and can auto-execute enemies that are below 15%. So it's really crazy. Yami is probably meta ground, crazy damage, but he's ground only. Yuno, I don't know, we do have a lot of nature, slow, hill units already. Oh shoot, I forgot Kakyoin, hold on, I'll be back. Alright, we're back, and I did get the new Battle Pass unit Kakyoin. I forgot about him originally, but I got him. His picture's a little bit scuffed, just ignore that. So, I was talking about is, I honestly don't know, because we do have Kakyoin and Tatsumaki already to fill in the hybrid slow nature unit. So I'd say, overall, being at 1.25k to place, I believe, is kind of mid compared to the other early game supports. He is pretty good for the portals though. I'd say he's falling off kind of the bottom of amazing now. Kakyoin, he is a little bit weird in that if you need a slow hybrid nature unit and you don't have Tatsumaki, he's going to be a meta support for sure, especially in the new stages. Tatsumaki though is kind of the exact same as him, just I think a little bit worse, I believe. Could be wrong in the comments, let me know. These two are kind of interchangeable, but they're both meta supports nonetheless for the new stages especially. Mostly progressive stages though, infinites they don't really have much value. Next we have Ichigo, which is also going to be a meta support. This guy is crazy for leaderboard runs. He has Fear and Cripple, I'd say probably right about here. And not for progressive stages though, these guys are going to be better, but infinites he is going to be a little bit better than them. Noelle's going to be top of decent. She just has nothing special going for her. If you need a water damage unit, sure, she works, but I don't know, there are other options like Law, Shadow Tanker, we'll talk about later. Asta, I think, is going to be probably a meta hybrid still. He's going to be towards the bottom of it, but he does some pretty good damage. He is hybrid. I don't know. I'd say he's kind of like the same as Lord Noir, where he's going to be really good for damage specifically, but we do just have so many hybrid options in the game for the dark element to where, I don't know, I don't want to rank them all in meta hybrid because there are just ones that are better than him, and they can't all be meta. Julius, I'd say, is another meta support. Not the best out of all these, but he does have a time stop ability now, which I believe stuns them for 20 seconds with a 300 second cooldown, I believe. Global cooldown, so you can't spam it. But it is a full AoE light hybrid unit, does some pretty okay damage with his ability, so not bad. Toto is another meta support. We have a lot of supports on this list. He is a ground unit, but for his support ability called Boogie Woogie, he teleports all the enemies back. They're in his range, pretty much the same as Law. Law, by the way, is going to be both a meta hybrid and meta support. They're pretty much the same. I'd say that Law is probably better than Toto, but they both get the job done, and I'd say they're probably about here. Next we have Itadori, which is going to be a meta hybrid unit, I'd say. Very, very good. Honestly, his damage is crazy, especially with the right build with his crit passive. His fire damage is especially valuable for the Shibuya leaderboards in infinite modes. I don't know, top of amazing or bottom of meta for sure. Akari right now is a crazy unit for the portals. He is the nature element, that's why. And then he also has a 777% bonus crit damage, which is crazy. I'd say probably bottom of meta hybrid for now. I might move some people around though eventually. Megami is going to go in amazing. I'd say that for leaderboard specifically, he can be a meta support. If you're running leaderboards, you do want this unit to be able to spam his Divine General ability. Otherwise, he's just kind of amazing and not too strong. Gojo, you know how I feel about this unit. Meta hybrid and towards the top of it for sure. This guy is crazy, insane damage, 2 abilities, passive, bubble around him that slows down everything. Pretty cheap and very good. Hybrid on placement. Shadow Sukuna, I mean, he's kind of just better than Megami. A better version of Megami, probably look right about here. Can be really good, but I'd recommend just evolving him to the godly form, which is going to be a meta hybrid unit, probably like here. This guy is going to be a half full AoE, and then he's also going to be doing a ton of dismantle damage, which is buffed by the new soul in the new update. So yeah, I'll have a video on souls probably soon, but yeah, this guy can be crazy with the right soul. And he also has 2 abilities that are global nukes, I think. Meliodas, this guy's kind of falling off, but if you need an early dark hybrid unit, he can be okay. I'd say he's probably decent with Noel, maybe higher. Noel's a little bit really mid. No, probably lower. Ulquiorra, he's kind of falling off. I'd say he's probably, okay. If you need an early nature unit for the portals, the new portals, he can be really, really good, right? For the portals specifically, he's kind of like Hikari with that. Especially in the portals, he actually can be better than Hikari because he's hybrid on placement, so he can deal with the flight modifier a lot better. But because he's only really good in the portals now and his DPS overall is not too great, I'd say he's probably in the amazing tier. Probably swappable with whoever you need on your team. Division Vice Captain is going to be a meta hybrid unit in my opinion, crazy for progressive stages still. Nanami is probably going to be an amazing unit. He is really good for early waves because he does get hybrid pretty cheap, and then he's also good for water damage. He just become full AoE. I don't know, there aren't many cases where you'd use him, but he can be really strong. Benimaru is definitely going to be meta hybrid as well. All these units I'm kind of throwing up here, I will move around later. Yeah. Aizen. Now, Aizen can be a good support, but the problem is that we have Dragon Princess now, and I don't know, the stun is just kind of unneeded when she exists, because Aizen's a little bit more expensive, I believe, and also does less damage. I'd say that overall, probably is still amazing. Probably, if I had to rank him, maybe about here. Division Captain, not Division Vice Captain. Division Captain is going to be 20k to place a hill unit. She can be really good. She's very solid for her damage specifically in leaderboard runs and stuff like that, but she's not like the top of the game, even for infinites. I don't know. She can be really, really good if you need a light unit. I'd say probably either top of amazing or towards the bottom of meta hybrid, if anything. And I don't know, maybe about here? Maybe about here? Not sure. Escanor, Pride. We know where he's going. This is probably the best unit in the game right now overall, unless you are in the new content where it's all water-based. He is not going to be good for that because he's fire, but he still can be used as your team lead to give your entire team 20% extra damage. So even though he's useless in the new portals, he still can be used for his team buff. This guy's just crazy. Crazy damage, top of the charts on a lot. Okay. This is weird because Doflamingo is one of the only, full AoE fear units in the game, but Ichigo now has fear and can do a lot better than him, so I'd say this guy's probably completely falling out of meta, not even meta really. Arthur, this guy can do some crazy damage. I think he does get hybrid at later upgrades, but it is a little bit expensive if I do remember. I might be thinking of Shinra as only ground. This guy, I believe, is hybrid. But for the most part, when you're using him, he's gonna be ground, I believe, if I'm imagining right. I don't know. I don't know if I'm 100% on that, if he's expensive to get to hybrid. If he is pretty cheap to get to hybrid, then he's probably around here. But otherwise, meta ground if he is expensive to get to hybrid. He can do some crazy damage. Rengoku, definitely a meta hybrid somewhere up there. We'll organize these guys later. As I said, this guy has burn, 650 to place, kind of like a better version of Hashirama for the fire element, and very, very good for nature caverns. Kafka going in meta ground, he does some insane damage, especially in the Shibuya Infinites because he is the right element. He's just ground only and very expensive. Griffith. Okay, now this is weird because Pain used to be just a better version of Griffith for a while, but if you didn't know, he actually received a nerf, Pain did. So Pain got his slow taken away on his final attack. I don't know why. I have glitched Pain, so I'm actually kind of sad about that. But yeah, I'd say Griffith's probably going to creep back into the meta soon because he does have full AoE slow and Pain now doesn't. I don't know if they'll revert that change with Pain or if it was even intentional to begin with, but for now Griffith is kind of finding his way back into the place with being a full AoE slow unit. Now speaking of Pain, yeah, I don't know, he's not very solid for like supporting anymore because he doesn't have slow. He's not going to be support anymore at all. I'd still say he is amazing for nature damage, especially in this new water-oriented update. He's pretty good. And I'd probably put him at least about here. I'd say he's alright. Joker's going into meta ground. I talked about Sukuna with the, what do you call it? Dismantle damage. Joker also has dismantle damage. He's just ground only. And dismantle is crazy with the new souls and stuff. Very, very good damage overall. Shadow Tanker, I'd say he can be a meta support because if you need cripple, he can be really, really good for that. Otherwise, he's just kind of decent for damage. But yeah, if you need an early game support, he can be there for cripple. Oh, Idol. I forgot to actually get the farms over with. We'd say they're going to go into the support tier because I don't know if they're farms. Actually, I'll make a new tier for them real quick. Alright, this is how I'd rank all the farms in the game. We do have Yojin in first place. He just makes a crazy ton of money. Idol, really, really good. I'd say instead of just being a farm, she's mostly used as a support for leaderboard runs. So she is a farm, she does double as a farm, but she can be a crazy support for boosting her entire team's range by, what was it? It's either 15 or 25. I believe it's 15%. If you put her covering anything in her range, gets 15% range, is what I'm trying to say. So she's really good for infinite runs, especially in leaderboard. But yeah, I'd put her in farm. Shadow, oh man, that's a weird spot to be in because he does have a nuke, and it is a very solid one. I'd say he's not very meta anymore though. His nuke is not very valuable for infinites, and they made him a bit too expensive now to be used in progressive stages either. Overall, probably somewhere towards the top of amazing, maybe like right about here? I don't know, we'll have to polish up all the rankings pretty soon after the list is over. Itachi, now this guy still does some crazy damage, for sure. Either bottom of amazing or top of decent. He can do some really good damage with his Black Flames. He is hybrid on placement, 1.5k to place. He's just kind of situational. If you need the right element, you can use him like in a Nature Cavern or something. Other than that, there are just better units for DPS overall, and I'd say he's either bottom of amazing or top of decent for now. Saitama, I'd say, is also top of decent. He does have a nuke, but his damage is kind of falling off. If you need a nature unit for portals, he can be good alongside like Hikari and stuff. Otherwise, he's just kind of top of decent right now. His nuke is good, but everything else is kind of falling off damage-wise. Jotaro can be a support because of his time stop. Other than that, he can also be used as a ground. So if you need a ground unit, he can be really, really good. But other than like early waves, he's just kind of decent. He's not very good anymore, and I'd say he's probably like here. Honestly, probably bottom of decent. I think even, what's his name? Doflamingo can find more uses than him. Blue Admiral is going to be a full AoE freeze hybrid unit. He is very, very outdated. His damage is really, really mid, and freeze isn't really seen as a support anymore because it kind of conflicts with other status effects, like pretty much anything else in the game that can slow stuff down isn't going to stack with freeze. So freeze is just kind of falling out of meta. It's probably going to be like around here in terms of usefulness overall, but he is still probably the best freeze option if you want a freeze unit. It's just that freeze isn't really seen anymore in the meta. Sun Jin Woo, I'd say, is somewhere in meta hybrid for sure. We do need to sort all these tiers out eventually. Yeah, it's getting there. Garo, I'd say, is probably meta support or early hybrid. It depends on what you're using him for, but in infinites, he can become a full AoE cripple unit. Cripple does have a weird effect where it's kind of bugging out Gojo's infinite thing, so it's not the best for leaderboard runs. And overall, he's just mostly for his hybrid damage. I don't know if he's really meta anymore because the stages are just getting harder and harder, and he's so long ago. His update was so long ago that he's just kind of like amazing, if anything, if you need him for early hybrid. Other than that, I don't know. Yeah, this guy's kind of a weird one to place somewhere. Maybe about here. We'll have to touch back up on that ranking later. Skull Knight, this guy's kind of getting outdated. He's definitely going in the amazing tier as well. Probably even like right about here, maybe down here, maybe down here. Maybe right there, maybe down here. Right there? maybe. He's full AoE hybrid, he's just kind of falling out of meta. There are so many dark options in this game that like you don't really need Skill Knight for anything in particular. Freerin. Freerin is one of the only early light hybrid options. We do have Division Vice Captain, of course, but he's ground on placement and takes a couple upgrades to get to hybrid. Freerin is hybrid on placement, and she does later get the Electrified passive, so she can be good as both a support and meta hybrid for sure. Guts, I'd say, is still meta hybrid. A couple people may disagree because his damage is kind of falling off, but I think he is still really good with the right soul. We do have the hemorrhage damage coming from Guts, and then we do have the hemorrhage soul, which is pretty much only usable on 2 units, being Jinwoo and Guts. So, I don't know, Guts is really good still. He does have very high AoE damage. And finally, Shanks, I'd say, is going in meta support for sure. He's only really good for his stun ability now. His damage kind of fell off, and he is really, really good for infinites, and that's about it. I'd say let's move around the rankings now for the units in their individual tiers. So I'm going to mess around with that for a bit. Alright, these are probably going to be the final rankings. I know there are some questionable places, like Megami being a support might confuse you, but it's just because he's only used as his ability and stuff. But yeah, this is entirely my opinion. Keep in mind, if you do want to argue with me in the comments over something, I might respond, but I don't know. Just let me know what you think in the comments down below. These are entirely my opinions, and these are the rankings of the current meta in the game right now. Again, every unit on this list is good, okay? There's nobody on this list that is bad. If they aren't on this list, it's because they aren't meta. And everyone on this list is towards the top of the game for something, okay? I organized it a little bit weird this time. Let me know if you like the old format more, with meta, hybrid, meta ground, and then I think it was amazing, decent, all that, without meta support pretty much. But yeah, this is the tier list right now. Again, some of the units in meta support can definitely be seen as meta hybrid damage dealers as well. Like, she's really crazy, he's really crazy, he's really crazy. You just gotta really, I don't know, it's easier to kind of categorize them as supports because it doesn't clutter the screen too much. But yeah, it's the final list. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.